Thank you for listening to episode 129 of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This was another good episode where Jimmy answered some questions from the chat regarding fork seal leakage and whooped out single tracks. We also had Ty Davis come on to talk about his latest project, the Adelanto Grand Prix, as well as some racing stories that he and Jimmy shared together. Roosterendo was another great segment with a bike that was really loaded up for a good weekend. And then we just started taking some questions from our Facebook and YouTube, which you can comment on at any time, regarding some Yamaha starting problems, as well as a two-stroke top-end rebuild instructions. I want to thank you again for listening, and I want to thank the sponsors who make this show possible: Yamaha, Moto, Adelanto Grand Prix, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC Sprockets, and Trail Tech. Go ahead and show those guys some love and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number 129. This is the best show you can watch right now about motorcycle and motorcycle-related products.
How you doing, Logan?
Pretty good.
So, welcome to Tech Talk. Got the voice matron working. Mm-hmm. This could be the demise of this entire show.
Yes.
This is the show where we, like I said, live from Pahrump, Valley of the Dirt People, try to let you know how to solve your motorcycle, dirt bike problems. So my name is Jimmy Lewis. I'm the washed-up ex-motorcycle rider. Used to be a motorcycle journalist. Now I just live in my own little world. And this is Logan Tyler, who races every once in a while with a certain amount of success.
Yeah.
You're happy with your success?
Yeah.
You want to get better?
Well, I want to ride a dirt bike a lot, and
you mean for the rest of your life, and support your bad habit by doing like what I've done?
Yeah.
Like writing about dirt bikes, getting my picture taken on dirt bikes, talking about dirt bikes.
Kind of.
Yeah, we got a great show for you guys tonight. I'm going to... Hey, Roger, we got one of our buddies coming on later. I got a special guest. So now I know that's Roger. So good to see everybody in the chat that's out there chiming in. If you wanted to get better on your dirt bike, would you go to Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training?
You could.
You could.
For a really good
You're a coach. You should have just jumped right in there and said, if I practiced all the stuff I taught, I'd be like winning the A class.
Yeah.
That's what you should have said. So this show would not be possible without the help of some really good sponsors and friends, of course. DDC Sprockets has been with us literally since the beginning. They make really good chain wheels. That's Delaney drive components. Go to ddcracing.net. And if Matt doesn't trip over or break anything over on the side right now, I guess we're trying to fix cameras and do a couple other things. It's never perfect around here. You'd think after 129 episodes, I would figure this out.
It's only my 29th episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think, Logan, what we should do is we should have him go back and look at like episode like 2 or 5. It's hard to watch. When did you come on?
I would guess 100 episodes ago.
100 episodes ago.
I think it's a little before that.
Yeah.
Because at 28, I see me.
Okay. So you can go to episode 28 and then you can, you mean on the picture or whatever. Because you don't watch this show.
No.
No, why would you? So thanks a lot for joining us. Yamaha is a big part of this show. They keep us going. Blue Crew. I have a YZ125 and you don't.
Yep.
Wait.
No, he's got one. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, Dad jumped in there and I thought maybe he bought you a YZ125. It'd be a really good training tool. You should come over and we should go riding and you can take it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll take whatever you rode. And actually, I'll ride my own bikes.
I'm getting. You have my bike, the same one.
Mine's better though. Actually, no, I don't have an XC. I don't like linkage.
I don't either.
Oh, well, okay. So this is a good thing. We're gonna talk. I think we're gonna talk about lowering bikes tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think there's some questions about lowering bikes. So you always wonder what's coming on the show. Well, usually we don't know because, like, right when you come on this show, or we sat down here and figured it out. Matt printed up some nice sheets that talks about what we're gonna do. we got some good questions tonight and a really good guest. Super secret surprise guest coming on at about 7:45.
About 7:45-ish,
I think so. Yeah, in about 30 minutes. So right when we get done with all the bull crap, stuff that doesn't work, then we'll bring in somebody that knows something. Taco Moto. Taco Moto is a great sponsor of the show. Don't get excited about touching that microphone, Logan.
No, the tape was coming up.
Yeah.
So
Logan, don't touch stuff you don't know what it does.
Okay, so Taco Moto sponsors Rooster Endo, which is our most favorite Everybody Loves It segment. This is a segment where you send us a picture of your bike and you tell us what it is and the mods you've done, and then we tell you what we think about it, which is kind of a very one-sided discussion because unless you're in the chat to defend yourself, you're probably going to get ruined.
There's a high chance.
High chance? No, we
have a video submission
recently
tonight.
it's pretty...
It's good. It brings up good discussion. You get to see what everybody does with their bikes, and it's like I probably say the things you would like to say. Is the way I would like if the guy just showed up at your camp, you know, and maybe he's one of your buddies or guy. And here's the way it works now: you met a guy through an online hookup group, kind of like Grindr, and he shows up and he rolls his bike out, and you see it. This is what we see the bike. And he tells us a little bit about it, and then you just say, "Oh, great! Like, what do we got here?" So this is how Rooster Endo works. So we tell you whether your bike roosts or endos, and then then you might win $100 from Taco Moto. Thanks a lot to tacomoto.co if you need some stuff for really mostly dual sport kind of KTM-ish bikes, but he's getting into the Hondas. He's got a lot of stuff there, so you can always go there. Of course, Scott Sports, my favorite goggles, especially the light transitioning lens inside of the Prospect. I'm kind of bummed because I was out at King of the Motos. King of the Motos is gone. I'm sorry. Like, rest in peace. That right. I went to King of the Hammers, and I was out riding around, and I'm usually out early, and I was out till after dark every time. And I was wearing my Scott Prospects. I have one pair that has the transition lenses in it, and these things are getting hammered because I was wearing them not only all day, and then I'd ride back at night, and then the light. Luckily, it was good during the day, light transition. I could ride back at night because I had a Baja Designs light, so it's almost like daylight. But anyways, they got scratched. They were. We did some stuff in my UTV. And I was wearing the goggles then too because it was so dusty. If my voice starts doing funny stuff or I start hucking up like big dirt clods that might even have like organic matter in them, like plants growing out of the stuff, all the dust I inhaled. But back to my goggles, I think they rolled around on the floor of my UTV with somebody's feet on top of them, which is a testament to how I was still wearing them even after that happened, but they got a little bit scratched, so I'm bummed. Climb gear. Mm-hmm. You wear Climb?
Climb, yeah. Jackets.
Mm-hmm. What kind of what other gear do you wear?
Stuff you give me.
Did you give me your size list?
Yeah.
For when we did that gear order earlier.
Yeah, but I was like, I think, like 12 minutes after one day.
12 minutes after one day. What does that mean? You
said, do this to, like,
I said
before 24 hours.
Within 24 hours.
And it was 24 hours and 12 minutes.
Right. And so you may not get the gear because I had to have the gear order submitted. Mm-hmm. Oh, you'd be bummed. You've probably grown since then, too. So you probably have to give it to your sister. Man, I was wearing Climb gear all weekend, like all last week. It was awesome because it's so cold, and then it gets hot, and then it gets cold again, and I was comfortable the whole time. So... did Victor just say I sound exactly like the girl he dated in Ensenada last year?
Mm-hmm. Wasn't a girl, Victor.
Victor, you are super hot. I like you.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, Victor. And Trail Tech. Hey, We know Trail Tech makes the Voyager and the Voyager Pro GPS units, but they also make really awesome instruments like the Endurance and the Vapor, which are like speedometers, odometers. They do all kinds of little things. So if you're looking for a digital gauge, if you want to know how far you've gone, like how many hours between maintenance, an RPM gauge on I think it's the Vapor has the RPM gauge, all these kind of cool things. Check out Trail Tech for all of your little digital devices needs. And radiator fans when you're overheating in the rocks. Mm-hmm. I didn't do any of that at King of the Hammers. I went riding in the rocks, but I kept my clutching to a minimum. So, Okay, let's get on with this show. We got some good questions popping up in the thing. Where do we go? Do you want to go live? Let's go live to the
we'll do live.
Questions up here because
I want to reward the people who are watching.
Right. Victor says, hey, my friend has a 2020 Ducati Multistrada. You know what a Multistrada is, Logan?
I would assume it's a Ducati that is entry level into dirt.
No, you're totally wrong.
Dirt.
No.
It's street.
So my time at the motorcycle shop, if I remember right, the Multistrada is almost like a V-Strom where it can be an adventure bike, but it's really more like a touring bike.
It's got the gnarliest motor. It's a four. I'm pretty sure it's the 4-cylinder. No. Twin.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a different Multistrada. Yeah, two. Well, anyways, why am I thinking of the 4-cylinder? What's the 4-cylinder adventure bike? Is there one?
Oh, the Triumph?
No, Triumph's 3.
3.
Anyways, okay, so back to just like Jimmy just had a brain fart. And Logan doesn't know. We don't know what it is. We're dirt bike guys. So, okay. Mechanic says it needs a new chain and sprockets after 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
He rides mild and sometimes 2 up. Do you think he is being abused by the mechanic? He is watching the show. Are you guys holding hands while you're watching the show? And did he sound just like I did when I used the voice-matron? And is he she from Ensenada? I doubt that after 4,000 miles that you would need a new sprocket and chain unless Ducati is now sourcing their chains the same place that some other manufacturers do, where you have aluminum chain wheels and chintzy non-O-ring chains. But you know what's funny is some of the mechanics these days have been trained at like one of these places like an MMI, for instance. And they're very good at taking someone that says, I want to work on something. I would prefer to work with my hands. And it may be sewing machines, it might be chainsaws, it might be motorcycles. But you go to a place like MMI and they will teach you how to be an effective tech. And if the manual says that your chain adjustment, or whatever, goes past this mark, or if your chain moves up and down this much, then you have to do something to it, adjust or replace. And I can actually see that if your chain was loose, that he checked it and he said, oh, the chain's loose, replace it, as opposed to like knowing that there was some adjustments. I remember on my Hondas a long time ago, the Hondas actually had on the chain, they had the camshell chain adjuster. And they would say after you went past it was from 1 to 40 or something. And after you went past 25, you needed to replace the chain, even though you had to still, the bike broke in and you'd swing it down and it'd go to like 22. And it sat there for a while, 23, 24, 25. And no, you've still got half, 3/4 of the life in the chain. So I don't think that the mechanic's trying to screw him. He's probably just doing his job the way he knows how to do this. That's the way he was trained. And what is his Multistrada doing in there? Oh, probably getting the valves adjusted. Are they Desmodronic? The Multistrada?
They might be.
Maybe somebody in the chat can answer that question, because if you have Desmodronic valves, I think adjusting is pretty stinking gnarly.
Desmodronic valve. Is it electric?
No. It's the instead of it just pushing on it, it pushes and pulls.
Oh. No valve strings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy. No, I think they're springs.
They're really light.
Yeah. They're just
They're not really doing the job
It's-
of a valve spring.
yeah. I wish I would
That
have.
sounds cool.
That's something- 'cause
frequencies.
Unfortunately, the Ducatis were. I mean, they were dirt bikes back in the days, or scramblers back in the days. But like when they really got high tech, I didn't pay enough attention to them because I was more worried about chassis geometry on dirt bikes and stuff like this. And we had guys when I was at Cycle World like Kevin Cameron that explained that probably in the best way ever. To learn and figure it out. And I just remember bikes like that came into our test fleet and we rode them around a little bit. But I know that nobody would ever go under the valve cover of a Ducati at our shop. And I would have, I just didn't have time. I probably had plenty of time to do it, but then I was jumping BMX bikes down at Sheep Hills or freaking, going skateboarding or something like that. And that was more fun, so I don't care. Okay, so hopefully, Victor, we helped your friend, and
Maybe I'll give you a pat on the back, Victor.
okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Q School. What's their question, Logan?
Tips to prevent fork seals leaking. 2006 KTM 300 XCW here.
Clean the dust seal.
So I would like to ask the question, like, where are you located? Because it depends on whether you're dealing with mud or you're dealing with dust. But it's kind of the same thing. So start with good seals, and that means like just don't buy the first thing you see on Amazon that's the lowest price. That'd probably be the best advice for there. Like Bob's over here, like he's yelling out letters, the names of seal companies or something, as if it's going to make a huge difference. Bob, I will tell you that I will dispute that, because something I've done over my time here is those ones that you just mentioned cost 4 times sometimes what the other ones I was able to put in. And I've done it where I've had 2 leaky fork seals and I've replaced them with 2 different kinds of seals. So the name brand, the stock one's from companies like All Balls or what's the other company? Pivot Works has rebuild kits. And I bought them off Amazon, like not Amazon back then, but eBay was where I was able to get some kind of cheap ones. And I tried them all. And the ones that were the cheap ones for sure lasted enough to where if you were really into replacing fork seals, if you enjoyed replacing fork seals, that you might be able to, because it was a quarter of the price, you might be able to put 4 in before you would have to replace the one you were, pricing it up to. So, but if you get, for more or less, some, a company that's in the power sports industry that you're familiar with, and you put the seals in, then I think quality is kind of the same thing. But the super high end ones do not last longer than the normal, or we'll call mid-range ones, in my experience, if everything else is equal. So here's the other thing. When you're doing your seals and stuff, make sure you don't have a nick or a ding or a scratch in your fork tube, because all it takes is one little nick, and that thing will, and if it is a sharp edge, that'll go up and rip your brand new seal as quick as the old one, it did on the old one, which caused the leak. So that's usually the biggest cause of fork seals going bad, is nicks and dings. So make sure that it isn't something else besides the seal causing the problem. You're talking about a 2006 bike. If you're having fork seal leak at a long, over an extended period of time, or you're constantly having fork seals going bad, your bushings and stuff inside the forks could be bad. And it's not the fork seal is not the problem. It's all the other stuff that's causing the problem. There's some wear there. And a lot of times wear, something loose leads to another thing that's loose, and it's hard on the fork seals. It could basically there could be a lot of debris floating around in there because stuff's worn. So check that. But if it's really leaking, it might be time to send your forks to somebody that really knows exactly what they're doing, and they can kind of check it out. What else would help? But keeping the dust seals, don't just if most of the time. So I probably go 2 fork seals to every dust seal. Does that make sense?
What about occasionally pulling the dust seal,
So
cleaning it up?
yeah. So here's the other thing. So if you're riding in muddy conditions where mud and like stuff that gets dragged up in the fork seal,
Take the wheel off.
yeah, you can actually pop the fork seal down, clean that area out. That would help extend the life of the fork seal. But I could see where if you're in muddy conditions, abrasive mud especially, where you'd want to replace the seals and the dust seal at the same time. But like I was saying, out here in dust seals, I go 2 to 1 on fork seals. I don't know if that actually makes sense, but it's been working for me. And actually, you think about how many bikes are floating around here, a few fork seals are. TTR 125 excluded. Mm-hmm. Did you notice it was leaking?
Yes.
That's bushings. And they're in the bag with the brand new fork seals ready to go in.
Oh, really?
But there may be some other wear parts in there that are causing that would require an entire slider replacement. So, okay. That's does that answer that question?
Yeah.
Somewhat?
I think so.
Okay. Another question. Oh, wait a minute. Facebook user says,
I stand corrected on the Yamaha RT/DT discussion last week. The DT1 was a 250 plated bike, and the RT1 was a plated 360, which I still own.
Jorge can give himself a pat on the back. He was right.
There was an MX version of each that did not have lighting, better porting, etc.
and those were the RTs. I don't remember,
George
but
was right.
Hey, well, who's Facebook user? That's not Taco Mike, is it?
I don't know who Facebook
Or we don't know.
user is.
It's like, yeah, somehow. Who is Facebook user? But anyways, thanks for takes balls to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that actually feels like.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's good. I know we had this discussion on last week's shows about DTs and RTs and the how the naming was and which one was which, and that wasn't my thing. I remember I've ridden a couple of those, and it's a little before my time, but pretty good. Hey, Cooper Luke says, what kind of sprockets do you recommend for a KTM 300? What do you think, Logan?
DDC, Delaney Drive Components.
That's your new helper right there.
Yes.
Is Logan's new helper?
.net. Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Logan's my new helper?
DDC
What do you mean he's helping
Racing
now?
.net. No, Cooper. He's going to be here next weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
How good is he at crushing aluminum cans and sorting plastic from aluminum?
I would guess pick it up pretty quick.
What about Loki? Oh God.
Uh-oh.
What about?
Hey, ringers off.
I know, I forgot. I didn't even follow my own rules.
Oh, man.
What about locating good places to rake leaves? This is the best thing about this show. Live from Kendall, Normanville. Kendall, you're on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. How's it going, bud?
Oh man, I forgot about this.
Well, I forgot to turn my ringer off, so guess what? You're on the show.
All right. Well, hello, Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Don't you wish you were here in studio with us?
Yeah, I do wish that.
And you're calling because you wanted to know if I looked at your road books.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to Glamis tomorrow?
Not tomorrow, but
The next day?
I don't know exactly, but yeah, this week.
So rally training is ongoing. You're the new rally trainer to the stars. You took over rally training for UTV winners.
I mean, I've had a lot of longtime friends in the industry, and we just, go out and enjoy and do what we love to do and have fun and keep trying to build off of,
Hey, well,
from where we've been.
So what is it? All you need is some flip flops and a what? What's the quote?
Oh, and some board shorts.
Flip flops and some board shorts, and you're ready to ride, right?
Yeah, exactly. We go anywhere.
Go anywhere.
You can take me anywhere.
So, where would people find that video if they wanted to go look for that?
I think Red Bull TV.
Okay, so someplace you can dig through.
Chasing Summer, YouTube. I think you can find it on YouTube or Red Bull TV.
And that was the ride where you guys the little towing. You had to tow somebody out of someplace, or?
Yeah, we had 3 of the rides. One was filmed, but every ride had different crazy stories or chain of events, things that happened. Yeah, one of the times Quinn was towing me because I broke my chain.
Right.
No,
okay.
I broke the stator.
Oh, the stator went out.
And then he was towing me, and then his chain broke, and we were like, okay, cool. We got another chain on this other bike. And then after inspection, we realized that chain was about to break too. So then we took a ride from Coco in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So you probably have some really good fix it on the trail experiences. We need to, one of these times when you're in here, we need to quit talking about whatever we're talking about, and we need to talk about how to rig stuff on trails. Because I've become pretty good at that. Well, when you go for stupid long rides in places with no tools, and you learn all the stuff that the guys in Mexico do, and actually it's African engineering too, and I'm saying that because I've been in Africa, and you think Mexico or Baja is gnarly, you should see what these guys do, like especially in North Africa. Like they have, imagine taking you go to the tire shop, La Lantera in Baja, and you take away 3/4 of their tools. This would be the tire shop in Africa. And
wow.
Like I've seen them like wire tires back together and get them to stick and hold air. And, instead of having like the right sized lug nut wrench, they just use a hammer and a chisel and get lug nuts off. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you live in a world that you don't have Amazon to rely on for when you need something new or fix it, when there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
Yeah, before I went to Dakar, I remember I went riding with Tyler Behrman and co. And we were climbing some hills, and on my way down the hill, there was a rock garden, and I came in way too hot, threw her away, punched a hole in my big gas tank, and it was like, we were in mountains, so I didn't really want to tow out of there, and pulled out my Leatherman and started whittling down a manzanita stick, ended up shoving it in the hole. First one punched it through, got another one, started whittling it. I couldn't believe it, but got the thing fitted in the hole, and it held for the rest of the ride.
Oh yeah, so there you go, rest of the ride. Yeah, didn't interfere with the whole ride. So
hey, didn't even have to go straight back. We just kept riding.
Well, the good thing is you were able to lay the bike down on a side, so you didn't lose all your gas.
Yeah, well, it was on the inside of the tank, so we had to take the tank off as fast as we could and get the thing on the side. Yeah. And then went to work.
Right. Hey, well, Kendall, I will get back to you with your whatever your needs are. Remember not to call me on Tuesday nights between 7 and 9 p.m. because that's when we do Tech Talk Taco Tuesday here live from Pahrump. Next time call Logan, see if he turned his ringer off, okay?
It's always off.
Okay.
Your ringer. Is that how you work your chicks? Logan's got chicks calling him all the time. That's why he has to turn his ringer off. Remember those days, Kendall?
Yeah, that's important.
Okay. Well, hey, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for calling into the show.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Have a good show, and nice chatting with you.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
That's Kendall Norman. He's probably on the beach and on Hollister Ranch there, surfing, doing all the normal stuff that professional motorcycle race, ex-professional motor. current Baja 1000 overall winners do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it say, is he really retired?
Yeah. He's no, no. I'm trying to talk him into it,
Yeah.
but
Into retiring?
he's yeah. Well, I'm trying to explain to him how old he is, which
Right.
it's because he needs a transition. And not that kind of transition that's popular these days. He needs a transition from like a really fast motorcycle racer to a really professional trail rider. So this is how things work. Okay. Next question.
Cole Smith.
Okay.
Are any aftermarket KTM fuel pumps assemblies worth buying? Talking about the whole thing, from electrical connector to tank outlet. Have an IMS tank coming and don't want to swap pumps between tanks. Cheers. Love the show and the tell it like it is ethos.
I think what he likes is how I just beat on you all the time. With just trying to make you, better young man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. So honestly, Cole, I have not tested any of the aftermarket fuel pump assemblies. Largely because none of my stock ones have gone bad. And the extra tanks that I've bought, I just bought a stock KTM one because that was the only thing that was available. And it was earlier on. Now there's other companies that are making them. And I literally was looking at the business card of one of the guys from the company that makes the aftermarket one. And I was going to call him just to say, because I have 2 tanks that I wanted to put. I exactly like you. I just want to be able to switch the tank straight across. And the other day I went to put a 500 tank on one of my 350s, and I noticed it didn't fit because because the cylinder had gotten in the way and stuff. And I was like, oh, I need to do something. So I'm like, it'd be a good time to test this, all this other stuff. So I don't have enough experience to tell you, but I would guess that if you're getting it again from one of the name brand companies that you're familiar with, they're probably, going to be okay. You can't go wrong with stock because you know how well the stock ones work. And some companies always, say, hey, ours is better. We've done extra research and stuff. And until I test it, I can't tell you one way or another that it's better. But if you got anybody here tested an aftermarket fuel tank?
I think Takamoto sells one.
I'm pretty sure Takamoto will sell. If it's out there, they will have it.
Yeah, but I think
They will. So Takamoto does. I know they do different fuel filters for the. They have a fuel filter kit, so you replace the stock plastic one with a metal fuel filter and some other stuff. They have things. So I would check out Takamoto, and I'm sure if you ask that question to Taco Mike, he would have an answer for you. And you can go get it there. I would always say just remember who you're talking to. I'm not selling them, so I'm going to tell you what I know, and I just told you what I know. I don't know. So that's that's what it is. What is Mitch telling us about that?
Jimmy, I had a throttle cable broke once. We shoved a stick into the carb and rode it back at 75% throttle the entire time. 5 kilometers in bush. Poor clutch.
What was wrong with 25% throttle, bro? It sounds like. Where would you set your throttle at if you had to make it a slide hold? Wait, let's see.
5.
I shoved a stick in the carb. I'm wondering. Okay, Mitch, we need more explanation here. So, where did the throttle cable break? I'm suspecting by the design there that it broke at the slide.
You would have came up with a better one.
Yeah, because we're talking about how to hold it up, but they actually. Why would? I mean, at that point, you can actually. Oh, you should be like Kendall. Should wheedle the stick down and make it like a thing, and you could just, if you did it right, you could ride along with your hand down there, and you make it at a wedge, and you could work the throttle. You'd maybe start at like 25% to get it going, and then you dump the clutch. But it depends on which side your carb is on, whether you could reach down and actually you could reach down with either hand. Because at that point, once you got moving, you're not working your throttle anymore. So you don't have, because usually the right hand is very important to riding because it involves the throttle, but that's gone.
You should do this at the school.
Wheedle a stick down and show them how to.
No, get a throttle to 25%. Just make
And
it
take off and try to ride.
no-handed.
Lock it.
Yeah.
Hey, you always said if it wasn't for the throttle modulations, you wouldn't need to touch the handlebars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do need to throttle modulate.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like
It'd be stuck at 25%, huh?
Well, you remember when I did that drill with Paul? I said, Paul, hold your throttle. Like when I go up the hill, you know when I do the nothing drill, I go, I'm going to ride it. I'm going to do nothing but balance.
Right.
And I literally lock my throttle.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing ever because almost aside from balance, the rest of I would say the next 70% of my bike control comes from throttle.
Right.
How I'm using the throttle to correct.
Because you need those blips to get it up and put it where you want it to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, okay. We have any more questions on this thing? Okay, wait, hold on. Mitch said they tried 25% and they couldn't snap over logs. Like, oh boy. Okay, so you know what, Mitch? You know what I would have done? Here's where we go into Jimmy rigging 101. I would have taken the throttle cable all the way out. I would have pulled the damn throttle cable out of its housing and used the ball on the end that's in the throttle, put that underneath the slide, and then run that cable up, and I would have done it the other way, so I would have had some throttle control. And that's just me thinking about it after having a Topo Chico hard seltzer, because I probably would have had one in my backpack, and I would have sat around and had that and then thought about my dilemma and then figured it out. But that's what I would have done. So sadly, the trail throttle cable, I hate the sign. Huh?
Sadly, the trail is throttle cable. I hate the sign. So I think the trail is named throttle cable because that's...
Oh, they called the trail that now. Right.
So I think there's some other ones somewhere.
We have some trails. I can't tell you why we have a trail called 5'9".
5'9"?
Yeah, we have a trail called 5'9".
Is it because are you riding it from 5 to 9?
No. It's a story. I told you we got to get Dave D back on the show.
Yeah,
because Dave D and I have
cool.
Actually, if I had Kendall and Dave D here, we could talk about rigging between all of us. And actually, Johnny Campbell would be good to have on there too, because Johnny would just sit there and just go, "Why didn't you prep it properly and do it right to begin with?" Because the other three that I just mentioned, we're all guilty of I just want to go riding, and Johnny would go, "We can't go riding until everything is perfect." It's the Bruce O style,
right?
Yeah, make sure everything's good. Okay, another question. You said you had another question.
I think there was one more somewhere buried in here. I accidentally clicked to go to the bottom, so then it just kind of lost my place.
Roger says he uses tear-offs to get dirt out of seals. So this is good. Back to the fork seal discussion. To clean fork seals, they make a tool. Motion Pro made this tool that was called the Seal Saver. It was a little hooked little thing that works really good, and people have used tear-offs. I used to use film, old film canisters. We'd pull a little bit of film out and slide it around in the fork seal. But trust me, 99% of the time, unless you've been riding in really thick mud, there's a nick or something inside of the thing. Rick Liberson has a question.
How about some advice on riding whooped out single trail?
What's your advice?
Jimmy Lewis off-road training.
Perfect. Thank you, Logan. Yeah. I can tell you through my riding school, which takes a lot of work. I mean,
We teach that. How to do that.
It takes a whole day to get to that.
Yes.
Because usually the reason that they're having a problem riding on a hooped out single track is because they're
missing one of the 4 steps of riding a dirt bike.
No, they don't understand the 4 steps, but they're having a problem with one of the 2 main things.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the 2 main things?
Balance and traction.
Right. So it's generally, when it comes to the hoops, it's balance, and balance is causing a problem with the traction. And if you had perfect traction, you would just skim across them like a
supercrosser.
Right. But since you're a little bit out of balance, you're not getting the traction, and then you can't figure out how to skim across them like a supercrosser, nor sometimes do you want to because they're not supercross hoops and you haven't practiced them and they're not consistent. So there's a lot to this, more than we can explain in the 2 hours that we have in the show. But here's the interesting thing.
Don't ride on hooped out single track.
That's the best answer?
Yeah.
I thought the best answer was just go around them.
Go around them.
Yeah.
You're on a single track. Don't make it into a double track.
There's normally a little line
Hey,
something to the side.
Is our special guest around?
He's not around quite yet.
Not around yet? Okay. He
No.
might show up.
He should show up. But so Jimmy, I actually have a question for you about the whoops out. Because Supercross came up. Have you ever ridden Supercross whoops?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
And could I ever? Okay, so when I was able to ride Supercross hoops, they were much smaller and they were closer together. This is a long time ago, and it was kind of a new thing.
okay.
And so
Wait, like new. So like whoops weren't always in Supercross. This was like a newer.
no, they never built like straightaways of hoops.
Really?
They developed during kind of the race, and then all of a sudden, like, we're going to make these. So I remember when they first started making them, they started putting them together. Remember, guys over in the chitter chatter box over there? This is an audio format, and everybody's hearing you talk. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm talking about Supercross hoops. And I know Desert Donkeys over here got all like, I don't care about those. But they progressively started making them bigger and bigger, and once they got to the point where you would, like, if you didn't do it perfectly or you didn't actually have your bike set up for this, you would crash, and then I stopped even trying. But it wasn't that often you could find actually a prepped set of, at the time, Supercross hoops that you could go ride, because they took a long time to build, and they'd build them for the race. And you just go back, and now on YouTube, it's amazing what you can find, all the old videos and stuff, and you watch them. And before, it didn't take much skill. It was just gas it. It was just
Just throttled 75%.
No, I wouldn't say 75. I would say pretty much you just wanted to just skim across them.
The same techniques we use in the class, essentially.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm sitting here trying to think about the way that they were in the old days. You'd have to actually set your suspension up to do them. You'd have to move pretty quick because you didn't want it to upset the bike.
Right.
But then they started making them deeper and farther, deeper in the holes in between and farther apart. And it got to the point where if you missed one, if you didn't just skim across the top, you would have a catastrophic outcome. And then that's when they became like what we're now referring to as kind of like Supercross hoops. Not that we didn't have this kind of thing out in the desert, or on just really worn out trails, but they weren't peaked and cut with tractors and stuff. Bob is raising his hand in the peanut gallery.
If you ever have a chance to see the Supercross whoops in real life,
TV
doesn't do justice.
Yeah, no, TV doesn't do Supercross hoops justice at all these days. Now, I mean, it's crazy what they've done. And when you think about the technique to going through Supercross hoops now, is to upshift in the gear before you're going to go through the turn. And usually they have the bike set up, but they only have to do it once. But there was a time when these guys were upshifting twice to send it through the Supercross hoops. And the reason they're doing this is because they want good traction to keep them, because it's all about traction, to keep that front end up. And they were able to get that traction by getting a wheel speed at a lower RPM. Think about this. When you're upshifting, you're getting the same wheel speed at a lower RPM, which means lower horsepower, which means less spinning. And it all comes down to tires, tire selection, to suspension setup and how all that stuff works. So there's a lot of things like that.
So you really wouldn't hit him the same way you would hit big whoops in the desert at all, then? Like nothing.
No, because imagine that the Supercross hoops, the reason they've become more and more difficult is they've gotten steeper and steeper and taller, and the hole between them
is
farther.
further apart, yeah.
You literally cannot put your front wheel. You could not roll your front wheel down in between them without your cases hitting.
Right.
It's almost like the logs. It's like logs out there. And if you think Supercross hoops are on, you know what I watched last night on TV? I watched some of the Super Enduro rounds, which is like Enduro Cross.
I heard the last round was really good.
I'd like to find where I could watch the whole show. I just was able to watch the highlights and stuff, but I watched some videos of the practice sessions and stuff where these guys were like learning and trying some of these techniques, and they're snapping off of logs and launching onto things, and the way that they're doing. And the problem with these logs and stuff is that traction is relatively inconsistent.
Right.
So it's not like it's probably more like Supercross hoops in the main event versus Supercross hoops for the first 250 qualifier. It's a totally different kind of thing.
Right. Totally different experience. I'll never forget, was it a couple of years ago where it was after practice, in between the last practice and the heat race, they built back the whoops up in, I think, a Daytona or something.
Oh,
and then the privateers just sitting there, they're just grenading all over the track.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was, they didn't have telephone poles at the bottom of those.
No.
Because that's the way they used to build the Supercross hoops at Daytona. They used to lay telephone poles down and then pile dirt on top of them.
Right, dirt and sand.
Yeah. So, anyhow, yeah, like hoops, like in general, are just it's horrible. It's a horrible thing. They're fun if you can get a rhythm through them or what. I remember when I was a kid, the first time I ever saw them, we were trail riding on our XR80s. We were up in Gorman. We went to this place, Gorman, California, and it's now the Hungry Valley State Vehicle Recreation Area. And there was a trail that was like 4 miles of just hoop-de-doos, and you weren't allowed to ride your motorcycle on the paved road that was right next to it. So the motorcycles all had to ride on the trail. So it developed hoop-de-doos, and they were really consistent, just rollers forever. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever because on my XR80 they were like jumps, and I could double them. You know, I could double when I got good. When I first rode there, I didn't know how to do it, but I rode it once, and then I'm like, I think if you hit this, you could double jump, and learned how to double jump those, and then you double jump about 6 of them, and then all of a sudden you jump into one that for some reason was square, it had a rock at the bottom of it, and then you crash, bend your handlebars, steel handlebars on your XR80, and then Dad's pissed. So, okay. Got other questions? Isn't Baja just a bunch of hoops thanks to the trophy trucks? John, I believe that, yes, any of the race courses, have you seen the size tires they're running those things now? It's all about tire size, and yeah, I haven't been down there for a while, but I see what they're doing out in just in Johnson Valley or in Barstow and the other areas where they race these things, and like you think it's bad riding on those courses, try crossing one. It's like Supercross hoops the other way, maybe even worse because they're deeper. So. Okay.
I think our special guest might be coming on.
Okay, I saw it was a different name.
Yeah, different name.
He's
yeah.
using someone else's setup.
So I'm going to rearrange this monitor a little bit.
Got it. So we can bring him back in.
Yeah, and then because I need this to be in a specific view.
Hey, Logan, do you know who Ty Davis is?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
So I only know Zip Tie Racing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you know.
That's what I know.
So you know how you don't know anything about my racing?
Yeah.
Because I raced with Ty back in the day.
Yeah.
But so my whole thing is I'm going to try to tell Ty that I was faster than him during this whole time we're talking. But this is not the case.
Okay.
Okay. Is he 125 Supercross champion?
Oh, shit.
Or close to it?
Something, yeah. Like
Yeah,
that.
close to it. I mean...
Yeah, he went on to go Supercross, motocross stuff.
Yeah, he Supercross, he Supercross, motocross transitioned into off-road.
Yeah.
And was very successful there. I think he was one of the only guys to actually go and literally like win, national enduros, national hare and hounds, hare scrambles all in 1 year. And we can try to figure out exactly all the things.
Works race at like 50 cc's old, and his bike was in left field on the jetting or a hare and hound or something
Yeah.
like that. And
Ty was
by
out there.
himself. Yeah,
So-
pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah, we're working on getting him connected here.
I think he's connected. He
figure-
can turn on his.
He's got to
webcam.
turn on his camera. I do this at meetings all the time. I don't know how to turn on my camera. Well, he's I think he's using someone else's camera name.
Right.
So
Well,
we'll keep
he
kind
can
of.
also speak into the mic if he wants to.
Are you there, Ty? Can you hear us?
I can't hear you. Hang on.
Oh no, we can hear you. So we're good there. You just got to figure out how to turn that camera on, and then we can see. Or we'll just do it like we'll just talk. But then I'll talk shit on you, and I can't see your expression, and I might go overboard. So,
Does he have headphones he can plug in too? Because we're getting some feedback.
oh yeah, yeah. Is there any chance you have headphones? Oh yeah, there's feedback. I hear that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You should send out your generic email that tells people. Okay, this
Yeah,
is
I need to include a put on headphones. This is on me.
this is on my producer. It doesn't.
It's all me.
Yeah.
Blame Matt.
There are Ty.
There we are.
Oh,
Supercross.
Supercross.
You like that?
Yeah, how's it going? Did we still having the feedback thing?
Probably.
Okay. If
Yeah.
sound,
Oh yeah. We're having it.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have any headphones, do you, Ty?
No, I don't. It's not like I do podcasts all the time. So this is all new to me.
Okay, we'll suffer through it. If it's really bad, the chat will let us know. And we'll
No,
try to-
it's bad. Like
Yeah.
maybe just call in.
I can't hear it. Okay, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna call you on my phone here, because evidently the feedback is bad for the show.
Is there anything on my
I'll
end?
call you right back on. You know what you can do? Here's what we'll do. Turn your microphone off, and then I'm gonna call you on your phone, and then just put your phone on speaker.
Oh yeah, there we go.
This is how we do things at the last minute on the fly here at Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, the show where you can learn about.
Dirt bikes and dirt bike related products.
Tell us about a Yamaha right here.
So Ty, it should be on the bottom left hand corner where you can click mute.
Yeah. I'm looking for it right now.
Experience
There we go.
pure performance and exhilarating power with a full line of Yamaha YZ two-stroke bikes. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new for 2022. The re-revised YZ125 makes for the perfect step-up machine, featuring all-new engine, revised 6-speed transmission, new brakes and suspension settings, improved rider ergonomics with new aggressive styling, and more.
He's got to turn off his microphone on that.
He's got to turn it down.
Turn his microphone down or turn his
No,
microphone
his
off.
speaker. His speaker down.
Yeah, so you're going to listen to us. Ty will listen to it. You listen to us through the.
I think if you
Through the
mute
phone.
yourself would also help.
If I mute myself,
Maybe.
then I can't talk to him. Oh, mute. How about
Depending
like
on
that?
No, now he can't hear you at all.
Now he can't hear me at all.
Okay,
You should get into the technical directing part of this show.
maybe.
So we're talking about YZ125s.
Now 250s.
Oh, 4 strokes.
No.
Oh, YZ250 2 strokes.
Yeah. Also deliver improved rider ergonomics, new front and rear brakes, updated suspension settings, and aggressive styling. For the truly race-inspired look, check out the YZ250 and YZ125 Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. And for the next generation of riders, the YZ65 and YZ85 and YZ85LW deliver big bike specs in a smaller package. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com. Find your Yamaha YZ and enter Victory Zone today.
Okay, you should probably get a YZ65. You're going downhill.
That's one I did not have.
No. Okay, Ty. I think we're back. Now we're doing double echo.
No, hold on. So here's the problem. So muting yourself. So the problem is that the feedback is coming from the speakers on his end.
Okay, are we better now? Nope.
No.
I don't know how to make this work.
Okay, I got it. We're gonna cut the Zoom. It's just gonna be a phone call.
Okay, it's gonna. Okay,
just gonna
Ty,
be a phone call.
we're gonna call you back.
It's just a phone call. There we go. Okay, you're good.
Now we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, Ty, we're back on the phone. Does that work?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good.
There we go.
We'll figure this out before we do the next one. I'm blaming everybody but me.
All right.
So Ty Davis, welcome to the show. You are another washed-up ex-motorcycle racer, but you are getting into the race promotion game.
Yeah, we're definitely washed up when we get over 50. I'm promoting the Adelanto Grand Prix. This is my second year kind of on my own, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of fun stuff. And I when Adelanto went to the stadium, I helped build the track the first 5 years. And it was a lot of fun. And we kind of bringing it back. It was at Bartlett Avenue for years before that. And it's probably when you raced it and everything. And just got too overcrowded. And then it kind of died. They tried to move it at one other spot and just kind of died. Everybody wanted a big money grab. Everybody wanted so much money. They just couldn't afford it anymore. And so Darryl Courtney, he was kind of in charge of the stadium and, wanted to bring it back. So here we are.
Yeah, that was such a – I mean, you remember this. I remember this. It was such a big race back in the day because, like, all the big names would come there, whether you were a desert guy or you're kind of like a motocross Grand Prix guy. And it was sort of it was this King of Adelanto thing. And I was never a big bike guy, so I would always try to win the small bike classes. But there was a time when, you had – Larry was – probably the one that kind of really started it because I think he swept all the classes one year. Yeah.
Yeah, Larry was the guy to beat. I mean, then as he got older, he could ride the vet classes. So at the time, when I first started doing, I wasn't old enough to ride the vet classes. So he could always win more classes, than everybody else. And then eventually, as time went on, we could race with them there too. But I've had some epic battles with Larry there, and with Danny Hamill also, and Honeycutt and Krause, and that race is so fast in the past. It was crazy nuts.
Yeah, it was. I remember, they used to, you'd run down one of the. It wasn't 395, but you'd run along one of these streets that paralleled 395 for a good I remember you'd go down the start, you'd make a turn, you just go hauling ass down this street straight out into the desert at a million. And it was, and then the desert was as fast as you could go. I think it used kind of like city or county or city streets that were all kind of streets, but they get so chopped up and hooped out, you end up riding out into the desert anyways, and you just have to go through kind of the checkpoints at the four corners of the course.
Yeah, basically it was a pylon race. You're right. It was four corners, and it was, as fast as you could get to the corner, you had to make the check and then, go to the next corner. And you're right. That desert just got so chuckled out. And, when I rode ATK, I was scared the whole time. It was a death trap. But I remember the 90-foot triple jump that they had that, Rex and I were like the only ones that did it, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't go fast down the straightaways. But when I went to Kawasaki, man, those KX500s were the stuff. And you could go so fast. I remember coming in and just laughing because I was just going way beyond, I wanted to go as the speed, and the bike could just handle it no problem. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was enough. It was like a true Grand Prix where it was enough. Like there was desert, and then there was the, at least at a West Coast Grand Prix there was desert, and then there was some. They built that track kind of in that field where it was sort of I wouldn't call it a real motor. It was kind of a motocross track. But they built some jumps, always a water jump.
Yeah, for that time, that was the best. That's the best they could do. I mean, they could do better, but it costs so much more money.
Yeah. So you're getting this thing rolling again, and now you're at the stadium where there's a minor league baseball team that plays there.
Yeah, that's all pretty much gone. That's all gone. The stadium's there. They're going to turn that stadium into an event center. And do that. So, they just have a little bit of, soccer and, a little bit of softball, but nothing, or baseball, but there's not much going on there.
Right. And so you turn it into a little motocross track essentially, or what is it? What does it end up being? Is it enduro cross-ish or motocross-ish, or what do you put in there?
So Yeah, so what I do, we basically have the baseball diamond area, first, second, third base, home base. That's the area we have to put something on in there. So what I usually do is I put the wood pit because that's always a great draw. People fall over, but it's always, it's fun to watch and no one really gets hurt. And, the kids love it and stuff like that. And then, in the past, I've done over and unders with containers. I've done all kinds of stuff. But I think most people just like a little arena cross. They like some whoops. They like some jumps in front of their family and friends that are watching. So I just keep it, user friendly for everybody. It's kind of where I'll run the kids and the Stasics and all of them. They can come and ride in front of their parents and stuff, and so I keep that kind of fun for everyone. Challenging for the pros. We'll have some have a big jump for the pros so they can get some good air. And we have like 2 motocross tracks just on the outside of the stadium. So and then they go out for about. Last year we did a 3-mile desert section. It just depends on how many show up. How many people show up depends on how long the desert loop will be.
Right, and so the desert is traditional Adelanto. You're going to haul ass, and it's going to get chewed up, and you got to go around the pylons.
No. I mean, that's a lot of people want that, but a lot of people.
Well, I think a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people don't want that.
No, they don't want that, but they have memories. It's everyone I talk to goes, man, I remember you riding this and that, and it was dangerous back in the day. No, this place here, we have some desert behind the stadium, and we have a big long pavement section. It's about a mile long, and then we peel off in the desert, and we keep it pretty twisty, more like a big 6 works style, where there's some fast stuff where you can rest, but then there's some corners and stuff like that. And last year what I did was, it was kind of fun, was after the start, everyone kind of goes out to the desert, and I put either or. So it's 2 sections of track that split the start up. So guys go on the outside, guys go on the inside, and they were about 100 feet away from each other on different courses, and then it came back together. So it kind of made it interesting, So you had another way. If you're behind a guy, you could get out and pass them. We also had side-by-sides last year, and it was just a way for them to pass. And then on the motocross track, I did the same thing. There's a section where kind of a straight section, and we just had 2 rows of course that could take either one to pass somebody, just to kind of make it interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool thing is when you get to be a race director, you can kind of do it how you want. If you like certain kind of ideas, that's cool. So when is your race this year?
It's March, basically 18th to the 20th.
Cool. And so you have classes for everybody essentially.
So we have the 85 class. We have some quad classes, 3-wheelers, side hacks. We have basically a lot of vet classes. We have Saturday night we'll have pit bike racing.
Hey, I saw adult mini bike racing. I might have a familiarity with this.
Yeah, Michael Bierman hit me up and wanted me to have some classes for him. So we're going to have adult mini bikes on Sunday morning.
Okay, so they get to do the full course, right?
Yep.
So gear those mini bikes up, right?
I don't know.
Big cheater motors, gear them up. Yeah, that's all about mini bike racing. It's all about cheating.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And then we also have a team race, Best in Desert team race we're doing on Sunday. And the 2 cool things that I like are the futures, which are basically the kids, super mini kids, and the pros. And so what in the past, when you and I used to race at Adelanto, it's like who could win the most classes, the 125 class, 250 class, 500 class. It was kind of like that was, that's how Larry kind of started the whole king of Adelanto.
Right.
And then Big 6 took it over, and they just had one race, pro race. Everything was all combined in one race, and so it was just
I'll tell you the one thing I got pissed off that the district did is that we used to be able to, in our time, or at least the beginning of our time, was you could race a 125 and a 250 and a 500. Like if you went to a European scramble, you could race the 125 class because it was a 125 class, and they race amateur, expert, and novice all at the same time. And then you could race 250, and then you could race 500 later. and now they run all the experts at the same time. So they kind of went from as opposed to displacement races, they went to class races, and I think that kind of made it difficult. And I've seen this in the Grand Prix too, because even like now they're doing all experts run at the same time, where you can't go out and race the 125 class and other times. So that it's kind of cool that you're able to at least get the guys out there on the track at the same time, and what you're doing 3 different races for the pros.
Right. So what I did is we do have a 2-stroke race. I did just all 2 strokes just because they're cool and stuff. So that makes it fun. Guys can bring out the KX500s or whatever they want. Why is he
125s?
Why is he 125s? Yep.
If I had a KTM 125, I'd bring it out. You know who watches this show all the time is some clown named Roger Hurd. Remember Roger?
I thought you were going to say Eric Holga.
Oh, that guy. I take that. If you're talking YZ125s, he was the YZ125 guy. But it was like Roger. Yeah, who else? There's the K Wells. All those. There was a whole bunch of us that came up in the 125 class. It was fun racing with those guys. But yeah, maybe I'll bring the YZ125 out.
Yeah, you should. It'll be good. So we do for the super minis. They call it the futures class. Basically, they do a 3-moto format, kind of like the pros, but they don't race with the pros except for the last race. So they'll race 2 45-minute races with the amateur classes, and then on Sunday they race with the pros hour and a half, and they do the whole course that the pros do, and it's really cool. Like last year. The 450s come in the stadium, it echoes and everything, and they got the Thunder, the 4-strokes, and you got the 250Fs come in, and then the minis come in, and it's 2-stroke sound. It just sounds so awesome. They're on the gas, and it's really cool because they do all the obstacles the pros do, so it's really, really neat.
Yeah, that's a kind of a thing now, to give the kids at least a stepping stone to see what it's like to be in the big class.
Yeah, it was funny because I got a lot of flack at the beginning when I came up with this idea. I thought, man, this would be really cool. I mean, obviously, I have a kid that's racing, and I take him trail ride, and he can do just about anything I do. It's amazing. And I'm like, man, kids don't get enough credit. And I look at lap times, and they're going fast. You have women pros out there; they're going faster than most of the women pros and most of the amateurs. And I'm like, why can't we just race them with the pros? And I got some flack because they think of a kid on an 80 that they're dangerous, they're not going to hold their line, but these are fast kids on 80s, and they do hold their line. And so we tried it last year. We threw it in there to see what happened, and it worked out great.
Yeah, the good kids on the 80s, they will hold their line. I just know this from going to tracks and stuff. It's like on the 60s, yeah, those wheels are a little small and they dance around or something. But the kids on the 80s, they're faster than 80% of the people out there, 90% of the people out there, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, Dustin's class, like when he rides the K class at District, now they're starting on the front row, but they start them like on the 4th row behind the vintage and all that, and they end up catching all of them, the women, everything, and winning it overall. I mean, that's they're going fast, and it's really cool. So yeah, I really like to get more kids out there. We had 13 kids last year. I'm trying to get more moto kids to come out there. Trying to get some big 6 kids to come on out.
And if you're just a kid, like you said, you have a STASIC class. So that's like a beginner. Like I've just learned how to do 2 wheels, and I have a STASIC thing. That you have a class that they come out and participate in.
Yep. Yeah. So we do that. So this year I mixed it up a little bit. I'm doing the kids at night under the lights.
Oh, okay.
And so I think it's going to be cool. They get to race under the lights. And some of the classes they're going to go out of the stadium. I'm going to have lights out there, and they just do a little motocross track, come right back into the stadium. And it's just obviously the STASICs and the e-bike, they're going to stay in the stadium. Last year I had a grass track, kind of like 6 days, a little grass track, and then we ran them through some of the enduro cross section, and then back on the grass track, and it was really cool. They had a blast.
Right on. Well, I'm gonna bring you back on like a week or two before the show so we can remind everybody about this, but trying to spread the word. This is, like I said, it's a race that has a ton of roots. I'm glad to see that it didn't just disappear because, Adelanto's grown. I mean, I know it's growing a lot of stuff, but it's kind of...
the land that we're riding on has now been zoned for growing, and so we don't know how long the race is going to be there, because they're already putting fences up right now, and so we got to run around some stuff, some property. But next year will be, we'll see what's going to happen. But but one thing I wanted to mention, Jimmy, was on the pro class. So what I've done is it's a 3 moto format for the pros, 250 pros and 450 pros, and the first moto is a 45-minute Grand Prix, normal Grand Prix. The second moto is at the end of the day on Saturday. They're just going to run the enduro cross section or arena cross section and the 2 little motocross tracks, and they combined all that for a 30-minute moto. So it's a moto guy.
Yeah.
And then the last moto will be an hour and a half on Sunday. And so it's kind of 3 different styles of racing, paid per moto. So I do 100% payback per moto, and then I'm trying to come up with a sponsor that we can do, do a pro payback, for the overall.
Get a big purse.
Overall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so if you want to come out and spectate, that's kind of a cool thing to go out and see, and that way you get to watch the pros multiple times.
Yeah, it works out good because you can come out Saturday or Sunday and watch the pro races.
Yeah.
And one last thing on that is we do have side by sides this year, but it's just a fun run. Last year we didn't have the side by side turnout that we wanted. So this year, Supreme Suspension is a big sponsor of ours, and he sells products like suspension lifts for your Ford, Chevy, whatnot. And so he's basically behind this whole side by side fun run, and basically it's he wants to get the people that are on the couch that have a side by side that want to go out and go around a race course.
Right.
And basically, you just have to have the particulars, belt and suit and helmet and that stuff. But just so it's basically a 45-minute. It's not a race. It's to go out there and just pound the course and roost the corners, go over the jumps, and just kind of for the people that never get a chance to get on the course.
Those guys. Actually, we should put up a sign here in Pahrump because we have those guys driving around town all over. Like they need to go there. not here. So you can go to www.adelantogp.com to find out more information.
Yes, that or Best in the Desert.
Okay.
Everything's on the Best in the Desert site also.
Oh, really? Cool. Well, right on.
Yeah, they've been really good because they really. I've known those guys. You've known those guys forever, and I reached out to them, and they're really supportive of this event, and they're helping me out a lot, and I really appreciate that.
That's cool. So the interesting thing here is, do you remember when we were kidnapped in Chile? Do you remember this?
Kidnapped in Chile.
Yeah, remember we went. I was down there and you came down. We had to race. I was told I was going to race the Enduro Championship, but then we ended up racing an arena cross or something, or in a cyclodrome. You were racing the ATK 250. You were the Chilean 250 Supercross champion, and I was the Chilean 125 Supercross champion. And then you couldn't leave because you didn't take your bike with you.
I vaguely remember that. That bike was already down there. That 406. That was a rocket of a machine.
You mean a rock? A rock?
Yeah, a rock. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, that was a fun. There was another American down there.
Not me. Besides me.
Yeah, there was another American. He was like he kicked everyone's butt down there, and that was like
But I thought you. So wait, you won the 250 Supercross championship on a 406?
No, it was an open class.
Open class.
But it ran like a 125.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah, maybe next time we'll get into some of the old history, some of these crazy ass stories. So, but anyways, Ty, thanks for coming out. So so you are still making a lot of crazy products.
Yeah, I do. I haven't been really aggressive with it. Obviously, funding, but I do make a lot of stuff for the factory teams with KTM Husky, Gas, Factory Kawasaki. Order some stuff here and there. I stay busy with that. I've had products. I've had tire irons, the tire changers, drain plugs. A lot of that stuff's been copied. Everyone's kind of jumped on the bandwagon. So it's, it is what it is. It's kind of like, it's hard it's a lot of work to promote a product nowadays, and it takes a whole crew, and I don't have that crew here anymore. So, I work on bikes, I work on suspension. I just kind of do whatever it takes to keep the doors open. My last product that I developed was the fuel filter. And for the 4-strokes,
right?
And we had issues with that little screen clogging, and then you pull it out. Now there's no screen at all, and it goes right to the injector, and clogs that up.
So you have so for like the KTM's, you have the one. It's a big filter that replaces the connector.
So you put the one side is a filter. So basically, you run the small filter, the gray filter, and then if that clogs up, I have a big filter behind it. It's like a 12 micron filter, because that small filter is like a 20 micron. When they first came out with it, it was a smaller micron, but they kept exploding because it just it was too much pressure for that little filter. So they end up going to 20 microns. So I leave that one in there, and then I back it up with a 12 micron. So if you're out on the trail, the thing starts running like crap, you can pop that out, and you have a backup.
And you still have something to keep going. I have those on a couple of my bikes. I'm not going to kid you. Those things are pretty cool. I got them through Rottweiler Performance. So Chris. He goes, hey, check this thing out. This is way better, because I think there was the other company was a Golan filter or something.
Yeah, Golan. Yep. Yeah.
And
we used those at the beginning, but we had some issues with those, and so I just came up with. I just wanted something that was more simple, that you just, clicked in, clicked out, just like normal.
And this goes back to like what your dad used to do. So your dad had Terry cable forever.
Yeah, he still has Terry cable. We still make cables. He actually, we made some cables for my kid's bike, because we run a different throttle on it, and but yeah, he's still making cables, and he does some Harley shocks now. He has a position-sensitive Harley shock that he promotes, and it's really good. And he has a machine shop. He makes a lot of parts for he makes stuff for Race Tech, and some of the tools for Race Tech he makes and stuff.
Yeah, cool. Well, if we had you on the Zoom call, we would keep you around for Rooster Endo, because I know you were excited about this. You wanted to check out everybody's bikes, but
I sent him the pictures of the bikes.
Yeah, next time we'll get it a little more sorted out.
Yeah,
and because I like it when someone else comes in here and tells everybody what we really think. Because Logan's my co-host. He's a little bit quiet. He doesn't talk too much, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Logan, you going to Adelanto Grand Prix?
Yep.
Oh, his dad just said, "Yeah, you're going."
Perfect. We're gonna sign him up.
Yeah, you got another customer right there. You riding your Stasic? You can take the YZ125.
Okay.
Yeah, look at him. His eyes light up. He's like, "Yeah." Logan's he's hanging around me too much. He actually likes his PDS. He liked my PDS shock better than his linkage shock. So,
oh boy.
Yeah.
You're brainwashing him.
Tywin, you know how to make them work. You know how to make them work.
True.
Cool. Hey, well, it's good talking to you. We'll talk to you sooner when we get closer to that race. And thanks for helping out Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. We're gonna start running that banner up on our ad thing here and telling everybody about that race.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
I'm not coming out of retirement. I don't think. Allegedly.
I know. I ran into Rosler at King of Hammers, and I told him about it, but he wasn't coming out of retirement either.
Larry's not coming out either? Yeah, because I'm just worried Mike Bierman's going to beat me on a mini bike again. So.
Oh, jeez.
Right on.
All right.
Okay, we will talk to you soon, Ty. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
See ya. Okay, everybody, that was Ty Davis, who is a 125 Supercross champion back in the day. It was confirmed by our chat room. And, national enduro champion. I think Did he win National Hare and Hounds? I don't know his resume. I don't know even my own resume, so don't blame me. But and Ty also makes coolant, by the way. He has coolant. Yeah, if you search Zip Tie Racing, you will see some cool stuff. His stuff. He's not a guy that just shovels products out there. He's a racer that's trying to make stuff that's better than what's out there. And when he talks about he's making it for the factory teams, and the reason that the factory teams come to him is because they know his stuff works. And like I said, I have some of those little things on some of my bikes. So that fuel filter, for one, is a really cool, super high end thing, and it just adds an extra level of safety and integrates it into an existing part, which is that's how it works. So
I need to start telling people they need to bring headphones on for the Zoom.
Yeah,
because that's what. We had this
let's
problem with Andrew before, so
let's not. But Andrew had the headphones right there.
Yeah.
He's
So
ready
it's quick fix, but this is a
he does these things all the time because
Right.
he's a famous Dakar racer, Supercross guy. Yeah. So he's used to this. I wouldn't have known unless I'd learned from making the same mistakes.
Right.
So hey, it's time for our commercial break.
and then we'll come back with some.
We're
going to
come back on Rooster Ender. Are you ready for Rooster Ender, Logan?
Yeah.
You sure? You're all wound up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got the contestants.
Mm-hmm.
Are they good? Am I going to like it? Or do I have to have another beer? Actually, I'm going to have some number 1 tequila. Look at that. Been taking a little while tonight to get to this, but it's been a busy show. So, okay, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll see you in a little while. And we've got more questions to come to. Lots more show to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see you in a little bit.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, number 129, brought to you by Yamaha, Taco Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, and the Adelanto Grand Prix. If you're in the western United States and you're thinking about racing a Grand Prix, the Adelanto Grand Prix would be a great place to start or go to or do another crazy race. Logan, what time is it?
Rooster Endo time.
Rooster Endo. This is everybody's favorite segment. This is where you send a picture of your bike with a description of it or a video under 2 minutes, which, by the way, we finally got one that was under 2 minutes.
I didn't have to send them back and ask for them to edit it down.
Right. So you send us in your bike, and then we analyze it. Our expert committee over here talks about it, tells you what we think, and then we tell you whether your bike roosts or endos. So let's get right into it. Logan, who do we got?
OGB has a stock 322 two-stroke and 250 21 two-stroke Sherco. Just 1352 gearing.
Okay, I'm already confused. What bike?
Shirkos. It didn't. The printer printed them out pretty dark. These are two Shirkos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the printer printed it out. But so we're looking at a 250 and a 300.
Yeah.
Sherco.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't because he didn't open the aperture up on the damn camera?
No, it's dark, but I think the printer printed it even darker.
Well, I like the darkness because that usually means wet dirt.
Oh yeah.
Look at that area.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
and-
wet dirt.
And that's that.
I'm in on that riding area.
Hey, I've been riding there before. I'm pretty sure. So looks good. Canada. That doesn't look like Canada. It's like Canada's a little. Believe it or not, Canada, in my experience, which isn't a lot, but it's a little bit flatter than this. This is looking to me like it's.
The trees.
I'm not going to say where because I don't like to tell anybody where they're riding at, but it looks good. So continue on.
Re-geared P3 skid plates, boobless.
Boobless?
B and T are not near each other on a keyboard. Had to check that.
You did?
Yeah, I checked it. Pretty sure it's not a typo.
Okay, so they're boobless but not tubeless.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's supposed to be bibless.
Bib Moose?
Oh,
You think
Bib
he?
Moose.
Hey, do you
That's
think
a
he?
Bib Moose
Do you think he
autograph.
talked in? Do you think he talked into his phone?
Maybe.
That's a,
What Mitch gave us some good advice earlier, didn't he? Didn't he ask a question? He's loving it.
Mm-hmm.
You're loving that you're confusing us, but okay, keep going.
With rear with bib and tubeless and same tire around 4 psi.
Wait a minute. So he's calling it bibless. So he's. Don't worry. I know. There's actually there's some ongoing testing where people are combining the tubeless and the moose into a combination. So in other words, you're pressurizing your tire chamber to take some pressure off of the moose.
is that to create the world's
So-
most expensive tire?
So, well, yeah, we're working on some of that tire
Trying to make the most
setup.
expensive tires
Well, you're
setup.
trying to get your tire to last, your moose to last longer. I haven't tested it. I've tested something like that, but I haven't tested that particular system, the one that involves the tubeless inside of because the tubeless system actually pinches the bead up against the tire or up against the rim. So when your moose starts not allowing your tire to crush down, it could be a really good system, although it adds weight and complexity. So it just depends on boobless. That's what he calls it. Where do you get boobies in this?
I think that's just what he's calling it. The mix of boob and tube. Bib
Well,
and tube.
Bib. Okay, so bib. It would be bibless. But he's got a fascination with boobs, like I think a lot of people do. So that's a sidewall is solid for less wallow and better side hitting, and it won't slip. I don't need 2 rim locks. We're trying to decide where this thing roosts or endos. I don't know anything about your bike. I'm just fascinated with boobless at the moment. I see Mitch posting a lot. I think he's on the Books of Faces. He's a Facebook. Yeah, he's coming on the Facebook thing.
Yeah.
Mitch, do you have a lot of different like odd bikes? Are you the kind of guy that just does not ride a KTM or a Honda? Something tells me
Maybe.
he's this guy. There's another guy also that like he has Huskies and Shercos and SMWs and all this stuff like this. Boobless equals dude. Huh? Like man boobs? Curly?
No, just if you don't have boobs, you're probably a dude.
Okay. Boobless equals a dude. I got that now. Can we table this discussion? We have to decide. Okay.
You were right.
Why is that?
He has a ton of different bikes.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Okay. Does not have a 570 Husaberg.
About time.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. You thought we couldn't go a whole show. You thought I'd just forget about this.
I'd say middle of the road.
I don't know anything about his bike other than that we're just fascinated. It's like, oh boy, I'm gonna get in trouble if I start saying this.
It's a Sherco. Who knows?
Well, I know it's a Sherco, but now we're just fascinated on its boobs list.
Yeah.
We don't care anything else about it.
Well, it doesn't have a whole
Okay,
lot
Roos, go ahead, put it up there, Logan. Here's a pen. Put it up there. We'll start working on the next one.
Richard.
The picture's horrible. I don't know anything about the bikes and whatever, but it has boobless, so it wins.
So, no, the picture's actually really nice. Just I had to cut out most of it. It's actually a really scenic photo.
Oh. Well, what are you doing editing their photos for them?
So it can fit on the Rooster Endo board.
Okay. You don't have to print it. There's some scaling or something like that. I don't know how it works. Okay, what's next, Logan? What do we got?
Richard Silveria.
Uh-oh.
2021 KTM 500 6 days. Taco Get ECU FMF 4.1 Ti. DID X-Ring VX3 707 racing suspension / valve / sprung. Seat Concepts, Moto-Minded Epic Kit / Baja Designs.
When are you going to get to the bomb? Is it coming?
I don't know what a bomb is, but
The bomb? Oh, you'll hit it. I'll let you know.
CMT Carbon, Michelin Road 5 VR front / rear. Coso air fuel ratio gauge.
Michelin Road.
The slicks.
Do you see the slicks on it? Yeah. This show is brought to you by dirtbiketest.com, where we ride on things that have knobbies. Why would you take a perfectly good dirt bike and put slicks on it? He's already got a street bike in there. I love the American flag in the background. I'm into it. I like the Michelin banner in the background. I like the KTM flag in the background. But you put slicks on your stinking dirt bike when you have a street bike in the back.
Hold on. That's not a street bike. That's because it has knobbies as well.
Well, so he put knobbies on his street bike and slicks on his dirt bike.
Thank you.
I'm confused. But okay, keep going, Logan.
Trailtech Mini Tack.
That's good.
SM wheels, blinker delete,
SM
tidy
wheels.
brake light, Warp 9 kickstand, orange frame guards, EBC 320 millimeters, rotor / Warp 9 bracket.
So if you had a disc rotor like this,
Because that's a rotor.
That's the rotor that's that big. You might want a disc guard on the front because that thing's going to hit some stuff if you rode it on the dirt, which you don't because you have slicks. Endo. Next.
Carbon fiber tank, too.
The
Carbon fiber tank. That's a really stupid idea, right, Bob? A carbon fiber gas tank?
Oh, man. He's in the chat, too. He's right. There's this WR250X in the back.
It's a WR250X.
Yeah.
That's a street bike. Why would you take the roundy tires off of your...
Actually, isn't the X the dirt version and then the R is the street version?
No, it's so confusing.
There's too many, like one letter changes the bike completely. It's really weird.
Yamaha's hard to do. So
this is the video.
Oh, we got a video on this.
Video submission, yeah.
Video submission.
All right, let's hope the video submission works.
oh man, I hope so.
So now you should be able to talk during this video submission now.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what happens when we switch over.
Do I get to see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Probably
let me put it on this screen for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, all right. We got 2007 KTM 450 EXC, FMF Quiet, Mega Bomb header with wrapping for the Exxon Valdez 6-gallon tank. Has a petcox right there. We got Brett Leaf shock and forks resprung.
Whoa.
And rally pegs, KTM, just plastic skid plate. Some disc deflectors back there. Baja Designs XL Pro headlight for the newer style fender and mask. Moose in the front. Plastic thing. Custom
plastic thing.
Yeah, there we go.
I like the plastic thing.
So I don't have to clean the radiators out. HT oil cooler. Seat Concepts seat. And then we got foam grips with heating element underneath.
Oh yeah.
I like his
micro
mustache.
switch. And then Trail Tech and Old Garmin.
Is that the horn right up in front in your face?
And Scott's underbar mount. I think that's about
Look
it.
at where he's at. He's in a bitchin' sand wash. Look at that sand wash.
I guess. We'll see you on the trail.
You will see me on the. We're gonna run into each other someplace. If you're riding there, I want to go there. That looked like an awesome sand wash. That guy's bike is. I mean, when I first saw the picture, we had the picture. I looked at that picture and I'm just like, oh my God, here we go. This is going to be just overload. It looked like there was parts, like so many parts could fall off and there'd still be enough bike. But that's a nice Chariot.
Yeah.
In a nice place, a well done video.
In his picture he sent, there's actually a tent that presumably fit in that bike.
Dude, that bike has enough storage capacity to take a tent and some cooking stuff, and that's a winner. It's an older bike. It's not even the new one. The only problem with that bike is it has a carburetor.
Right.
But I know it's not the bike's fault. he dropped Brent Leaf suspension, which is like, I guarantee you that suspension is good because the Brent would not do it unless he was tuning it for you. So that's good. That thing's that's a ringer. That's a really good bike. And a well done video, by the way. I don't know why it was clipping. I think that was my producer over there. He jacked up the sound or something. The sound levels were messed up.
Maybe.
No, that was a
file was too big.
I think it was when I downloaded it because it just didn't download correctly.
Yeah.
Well, so we're going to blame the computer.
One of these days we'll figure this stuff out.
We're not going to blame the fact that I didn't check it once I downloaded it.
Right. You got a lot of extra spare time around here. Where's that photo at? What do we do with it?
Right here.
Okay. Roost. High. Okay, next.
That's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. Right now, I'm just not even going to deny that is currently our ongoing winner. Plus, the other thing I said, if you submit a good video, you're going to win this time because we just were lacking on the video ones that I like, especially when you show me a really bitchin' sand wash that I want to ride in, and now it's all I'm thinking about. It's like I want to go up that sand wash, like on a Husaberg, taped. Like that sand wash won't look the same afterwards, but
sand wash sounds to make you fall asleep.
So. Okay.
Evan Michael.
It eats whoops with the camping gear. Well, probably not. But Curly says, Kyler. Hey, carbs are reliable and easy to fix.
Yeah.
No. The carbs are reliable. They're reliable and easy to fix. Not. I guess I have to wait 20 years to figure out how problematic my fuel injection becomes. So we'll see. Okay, we got an adventure bike.
2015 1190 on a trip out to Colorado. Rottweiler Stage 3, Power Commander, dampener. All the goodies. Was a really cool trip. Camped and fished for a week off the bikes.
All the goodies. That's an exhaustive list.
Like I see a Prokovich. A Prokovich. There you go.
Prokovich.
You know, I actually met the owners of the company.
Yeah.
And I mispronounced it. I couldn't pronounce it properly. It's more like a Kravovich, but it. I never. Yeah, that's not right either. Yeah, they told me how to say it, and the problem is I was probably so intimidated at the time because I said it wrong. Acro, just call it Acro. Yeah, it's that. So if you got Rottweiler stuff on it, it has too much power, so you don't need that. It has a tank bag on it, and people say, I've heard that the only reason that I don't like tank bags is because I have sensitive nuts. And
hey, you You were called
Wouldn't
the Princess and the Pea.
The Princess and the Pea.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make it softer because there's something in between the metal gas tank and?
No, I've
nuts?
sensed that even anything that's touching them is enough. Is too much. Yeah. So the problem is like it interferes with my personal space. That's what I like to say. The tank bag interferes with my personal space. And for touring around, I think they're great, especially when the tank bag is like up in my chest area. But when I stand up and it gets into my crotchal region, we start having discussions that I don't like. So, did you put a PDS shock on your 1190 like I did on mine, buddy? Endo. Yeah, Endo.
Is that even publicly accessible?
The PDS shock? Yeah, you just buy one. They're on the 1090s.
Oh.
That was the biggest problem with my 1190. Actually, two big problems between my 1090 and my 1190. Number one, no PDS shock on the 1190, so it just blew through the stroke and kind of bottomed out a little bit too much. And the other thing is, I don't know how they did it for two bikes that weigh so similar on the scale. I can't believe that my 1090 feels 40 to 50 pounds or maybe 70 pounds lighter most of the time. So easy, accessible snacks. And San Felipe Bob uses a strange name, numbnuts. No, numbnuts. That's like I wouldn't have numb nuts. It's the other way around. But okay. And Mitch is replying to Curly, we like to call him. Been on carbs for life, no issues really. I love it when the 1920 TPIs don't run right on the trail.
Oh boy, here's a can of worms.
Oh, do you really? I love my TPI bikes. I have never other than the early ones when I, because I was told to try this, rode more than 2,000 feet in elevation change without shutting the bike off, which is kind of hard to do. Like it's really hard to find that to do that. That was the only issue I've ever had with TPI bikes, stock ones. So I know some people they stall easy on, but I think that's your clutch control. And I know other people like their bikes don't idle. Their bikes don't idle, but I have no idea how that happens because I've tried to simulate that condition on my bike and other people's bike, and I don't have that problem. So I'm not saying that KTM is perfect, but I'm telling you what, for trail riding purposes, and I rode mine around at the King of the Hammers. Mm-hmm. I rode a lot of the rock trails and stuff. I raced King of the Motos 2 years ago, not the last time they had it, but the time before that. That stinking bike made stuff that I used to struggle riding up easy. There was places I was worried about being able to ride up, and it was easy. So, suck it in your TPI, whatever, carb things. I'll take every carburetor and replace it with, if I could. I have a lot of carbureted bikes for sale. So, okay, next. Hey,
Sure.
You know what still has a carburetor?
Already did that one.
No, you didn't. You did 4 strokes.
No, we didn't.
Oh, you did 2 strokes?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I want to talk about the control.
The YZ125 and YZ250s have carburetors, so
I
if
know.
you want them, you can have it.
No, I have one.
Yeah.
I have 2 of them.
Them.
They can have, you should get a YZ125. He actually is a YZ250 guy. Hey, for motocross drivers driven to dominate, there's a YZ line of 4-stroke bikes. That's the YZ250 and YZ450. You may or may not be familiar with these bikes. They tend to be leading the Supercross Championship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can try to take the guy out, and he will still come back and win the overall.
And he may get wrapped around.
And even if you've come off another brand and you hop on the YZ, you're going to end up winning Supercrosses.
Yeah,
It's been proven. And the reason is, then the only reason is because of the Power Tuner app, which is available to everybody. You can just go on your phone and download it. You don't even have to own the YZ. You can download the Power Tuner app and you can play with it. And you could build maps even if you don't have the bike. But if you get the bike and you build a bitchin' map, you have an awesome YZ. Yeah. And that's not even considering the full factory ride that you can get with the exclusive Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Edition graphics package. which is really kind of a side effect. Because when you're riding your YZ 4-stroke, you're not looking at it. You're riding it. Everybody else has to look at it.
Yep.
But if you tune your bike with that exclusive power tuning app, the industry's only free power tuner app, you're going to be heading to Victory Zone. So visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to find your Yamaha YZ. Right, Logan?
Yep.
How was that read? Pulled it right out of my cranium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's next? Next Rooster Endo.
Trey Thompson.
Okay.
With the 17 KTM 1090. Scott sub mount.
Oh, well, hold on. Here's 1090. This
Yeah.
thing is 40 to 70 pounds lighter, and it has a PDS shock on it.
Yep.
Okay, but keep going.
Scott sub mount Recluse KTM skid plate wing pipe Rottweiler intake. Pretty sure he has a Husaberg 570 because he says if this doesn't make it, the Husaberg 570 is coming out.
Oh, so he's holding
so.
back with his Husaberg 570.
So some context behind that last comment is he submitted a bike 2 weeks ago and didn't get on.
It did get on the show.
It didn't get on that show. He won last week actually because that bike then appeared on last week's show. But he submitted this thinking that his other bike got passed over.
Oh,
this is his second submission because he
second
thought his first one didn't get on the show.
What was his first one?
A 500 EXC that won last week.
That won. It was a stock one. It was a really stock one.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
This is a nice bike too. This guy knows how to set up his bikes.
Yeah.
I can tell he's doing the stuff that he wants to do. He's got a I get here's the problem is I think I live in this stupid world where people have multiple bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of forgetting about the little guy. You know, the guy that only has one motorcycle.
Yeah.
And when I worked at a motorcycle magazine, I remember my predecessor picked the product of the year. Mm-hmm. And he picked the product of the year was a motorcycle stand. And I remember seeing that. I'm like, there was some other really cool stuff that came out that year as a product. And I'm like, how could you pick a motorcycle stand? And his reason for picking the motorcycle stand was because it stacked up. You could stack multiple stands up together, and they didn't take up much space. And I go, who excuse my French, has that problem? Like, even if you have a couple different bikes, usually only one of them goes on a stand.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the other bikes, you have one that doesn't have a stand and the other ones have kickstands. So forgive me for understanding this problem more than you should know. But so yeah, you can't pick a motorcycle stand that stacks up together as a product of the year for the regular people, for the peasants.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a product that works for everybody. And it's a nice stand, I guess, but stacking together should not be the reason for it winning. So back to how this applies to this guy. He's got a really nice bike. This bike roosts, but you're not going to win tonight.
I like the Alcan sticker too.
The Alcan, because you're semi-Canadian.
No, I'm Alaskan.
Yeah, Alaskan, but that's semi-Canadian.
Semi-Canadian.
That's a northern Canadian.
Yeah,
there we go.
You're northern Canadian.
It's a fun highway to drive on.
Hey, do you still get money every month from the Alaskan government?
No. If I had stayed up in Alaska for another year, I would have started to get that though.
Oh,
but it's not much. It's only like it's like maybe it might be up to I think it's $1,200. It might be up a little bit.
A month?
No, a year. A year. Yeah.
Oh.
No. It depends on how much.
A lot of free money.
Enough for beer, eh?
Free money,
Enough for
that's
beer.
a lot.
Eh?
It really depends on how well the oil industry does up there too, if I remember right, because it's
Okay.
part of the share.
We got any more? That's it.
That's it.
Who's our winner? We
Yeah.
That's.
What's the name?
Let me pull up his name again.
I forgot already.
So did I? I think it's Chris Bramell.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, congratulations. You're going to get a $100 gift certificate from Takamoto.co. Go there to find out how you can spend it. It's, they will have something that you can utilize for sure. He's got most of the stuff, but I would just suggest upgrading to a more current fuel injected KTM 500. and you'll be super, super happy. But your bike is nice. But
I'm jealous of that camping setup.
the funny thing is the fact that he managed to skip from where his bike is. If he can skip that whole 2008 to 2011 range of KTM's, he's done a really good job. It's everything that bike has, and then everything gets a little bit better. Don't know how I know that, because I had one of the ones in between, and I had to rebuild it too many times. Okay, questions? You ready for questions, Logan? Mm-hmm. What does Seth want to know?
2022 YZ250FX cold starts instantly, but once it's up to temp, if I kill it with the switch or stall and try to restart the starter, just cranks and cranks. It sometimes backfires, but mostly just doesn't want to start. If I drop it into neutral and hold the clutch about 1/8 open, it seems to start better. What might help the hot starts? New battery, different mapping?
So, both of those things. So, this is a known issue. This is the Yamaha starting on the 4-strokes is a little bit more, I would call it, problematic than other brands and other bikes that I've ridden, especially hot. They start cold, they start right up. But their warm starting is a little bit, and I've asked them about this. So there is something you can do with the mapping, and it's at the 0-0 position on the power tuner app, which you can easily go in and change. And I don't have the exact answer because I think it's dependent on where you're at, your altitude, the temperature, and stuff like that. Whether you actually make it richer or leaner. You can that 0-0 you can +2 or 3 or -2 or 3 on the fuel is what you want to do. Don't mess around with the ignition there. Just mess around with the fuel there, and you may be able to get some improvement. I've never been able to get the kind of improvement to make it instantly start back up, and I've asked about this, and so, but you can change it a little bit. So that's the one thing. I've tried a bunch of different batteries as well, higher cranking apps and all that stuff. Did not make a difference. Not any difference at all. The one thing I will say is that Yamaha, the battery that they were coming with when they went to I think they're still lithium batteries. They had a lighter weight battery. Their battery actually has like a, I'll call it a overload circuit or something in it. So if you keep cranking on it, it'll actually quit cranking. So you go to start it like 4 or 5 times, and then all of a sudden it doesn't start until the battery sort of cools itself down a little bit. So sometimes if you like to just keep cranking it, the stock battery isn't the most optimum. But I've learned that probably the best thing to do is to learn how to touch your starter button better. Mm-hmm. I've found that if you push it, you stall it or whatever, you come in a turn and you stall it and you go hit it, and it doesn't start, stop. And then go again, like tap it once, and then push the button again, and then hold it. And it usually starts up. So it's like it doesn't start, tap it, then do it again. I don't know if it has to do with the way that the sensors take a reading, but this is what I've kind of found in my experience. But the other thing is if your clutch on the Yamaha specifically is like a little bit worn, it's a little bit dragging. Like he said, he can put it in neutral, and he does all. It shouldn't make any difference whether you pull it in a quarter turn or pull a quarter lever or whatever. It shouldn't matter. If it's disengaged, it should be disengaged and free. But if you find that it starts a lot easier when it's in neutral as opposed to when it's in gear, you might notice that your clutch is putting a certain amount of drag. And this works for any bike. That your clutch is putting a certain amount of drag while it's in gear, and that's not allowing the motor to spin it up to the speed that it needs to actually fire. So if you find that going to neutral means it fires as opposed to in gear, you may have some drag or some wear on your clutch that could be causing some of the issue. Maybe your clutch is not completely disengaging. The fact that you're talking about it moving the lever, what do you say, a quarter inch in? 1/8 inch in?
Throttle. Hold the throttle an eighth of an inch open.
Throttle.
I mean, eighth of the way open.
Eighth of the way open.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing, that can be making it lean and or rich, So it could be lean because it's open and then air gets through, or it could be rich because it's sensing that it needs to send that much fuel in there. And at that point, I found in the Yamahas, do not touch the throttle. Like when you go to restart it, just actually if you take because I've watched guys do this when they have starting problems. I've watched them and they do the 2-stroke thing where they go like this when they're pushing the button. Like when they're kicking it. They twist the throttle. So that's another good point. Take your hand off the damn throttle. Take your hand when you go to start it. Take your hand off the throttle and grab the throttle housing so you don't twist it, because you're confusing that motor. And they don't like to start like that a lot of times. So there's a couple things, Seth. Hopefully that answers your question. There's go ahead and practice it, stall it on purpose, and try it. This is what I did with test bikes when we had them, because they do not start as good as other bikes. But the only problem that I have is it's a certain amount inconsistent. Like there's not one exact set thing to do that ever fixed it. So, but you can learn a procedure. Like I said, that the one thing is, if it cranks and it doesn't start, stop, tap it, and then start it. Push it again. And they usually start up, but do not touch the throttle when you're doing this. So, that's my answer.
Sam says, Jimmy, after 150 hours, I'm doing the top end on my 2018 Beta X trainer.
Why?
The first top end I've ever done.
Okay. Well, because you're doing it because you're curious. This is like me cutting into lawnmower engines when I was a kid.
That's fun.
Yeah. Okay. So he's gonna do an unnecessary rebuild on his engine.
When should you do the X trainer?
The X trainer, if it's ridden the way the X trainer is meant to be ridden, 300 hours. Yeah. I would guess. Yeah. But anyways, okay. So back to the original story.
When reassembling...
Sorry to interrupt. How many hours are on your X trainer?
Nothing. 28?
Yeah. How many cartwheels?
28.
28 cartwheels.
Good answer.
Yeah.
That just about.
Okay, so continue.
When reassembling, what oil do you recommend using? Car motor oil, assembly lube, 2-stroke premix oil, or something else? Love the show.
Reassembling on what?
The motor.
He's doing a top end?
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not. I put 2-stroke top ends together dry. If I put a piston, I put maybe a little 2-stroke oil on the wrist pin on the connecting on the on the rod. Usually they're wet to begin with, and I'll just slide it together. Sometimes if it feels any way tight, I'll throw assembly lube on it. But if anything, a little bit of 2-stroke oil there, and then I'll put together the 2-stroke top end dry. I don't put. I mean, I remember when we were rebuilding KX80s back in the day. They put oil around the piston rings and stuff, but there's oil in the gas, and it's going to lube it up, and those first few strokes may actually help it, break in or seat in better. I don't know. I'm sure there's some place where there's like science where you're going to get the 0.2% more power or whatever. I guess if you're going longevity, you maybe would err on the side of having a little more lube on it or something. But I would just bolt it back together. I wouldn't take it apart unless you're just looking to see what it looks like inside. Take your exhaust pipe off and look up into the port. Look into the exhaust port and look and see if there's any blow by the rings, and because that's a double ring piston, I would guess on that thing. I don't know. I haven't pulled one apart because I have one in my garage. You have one in your garage, and they just kind of low RPM, run forever 2-stroke motor. The betas, in my experience, we did on dirtbiketest.com. There's a rebuild video. Remember Big John's beta?
Yeah.
250 or 300 that we rebuilt?
300.
Yeah, we rebuilt one of those back in the day, and when we took it apart, and it was a high-hour bike, hard-use bike, and we took it apart and said, they built these things like tanks. they did a really good job with that bike. So have fun and enjoy the rebuild. Learn something, and then learn you don't have to do it that much, I don't think. But let us know if there's any problems with it.
Connor Steele. Hey, Jimmy, thoughts on lower compression piston for a 2019 CRF 450 RX? I noticed Red Moto sells them on their website. Do you have any experience with something like this, and what are your thoughts?
So I don't have any experience with that on that particular bike. I have tried lower compression pistons on 4-strokes before, and I'm trying to think whether they were like, so the RX, I would call that a pretty high performance motor, and my experience came from when we were testing all these different compression ratios on, believe it or not, XR80, XR100 motors, because we were trying to squeeze the most out of it. And I would think that if you're trying to tame the bike down and trying to get it to maybe rev a little bit more, it probably won't make as much torque, which I don't think is a problem. It might make it a little less prone to stalling. But I'm going to tell you that what I know about Red Moto, and then they're enduro focused and they're off-road focused, that if they're offering that, it's probably a good thing. I know that that company has always been taking 450s and turning them into 400s, and that's a really good. That's actually a good thing for most trail riding guys. So if they're offering a lower compression piston and they say, I would guess that would be a good option. And I was supposed to ride some Red Moto bikes, actually one of their 280s or 300s, but that disappeared. The option disappeared. I wasn't around. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I would say go for it.
Bill Hall says, other than price, give me the pros and cons about titanium parts and fasteners on your off-road bikes.
Bob. This is Mojave Bob over here sitting in the peanut gallery. You used to put a lot of titanium shit
And aluminum.
and aluminum shit on otherwise really good motorcycles. What was your reasoning for doing this?
So I didn't have to go on a diet.
So he didn't have to go on a diet. Okay, so you had we're talking about disposable income. Other than price. So it's so you don't have to go on a diet. Is that what the question was?
Pros and cons.
So the pros and cons. The pros are you don't have to go on a diet, and the cons are the aluminum stuff breaks real easy. The titanium stuff has a service life that's a little bit less overall. No, that's not the case.
The bolts will react at different. The titanium is different frequency than the steel bolts, and that some riders might notice
different frequency of I'm sitting there going back to my experience with them and stuff like that. I don't know that. Yeah, I can see this. What about like longevity? Like,
should be the same.
Same as steel, all that stuff like that.
Corrode like
they won't corrode like steel, right? They're super expensive. I don't. Other than you just get to pay more for stuff. Yeah, go for it, I guess. It really, the bang for the buck on what your buddies think about it is probably a little bit lower because they don't get to see it. And it's not. I mean, they might see the outside of the bolt, but who's really looking at the bolts on the motorcycles?
Well,
get some new tires.
Jimmy.
Okay. Bob's raising his hand. He's
When
got
it comes to stuff
something.
like that,
Stuff like this, like titanium bolts.
Increase the performance. You'd be better off going to your school.
Increasing the. Oh yeah, go to my school. You could spend $1,000 with me as opposed to those titanium bolts, and then everybody will notice how much faster you are, and you don't have to stand around and profile your bike based on its bolts.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like wondering what's. Well, I'm not going to go there.
Also, we'll have a big announcement next week.
Big announcement next week about schools, riding schools. Yeah.
Should you lower your bike? Video. George Wellrider says, yeah, all good, but if the rider is real, lightweight like my wife, they'll never get the correct sag with stock springs, and they're short, 5'1", as she is. That's when the only fix is lower bike with softer springs.
Everything he said is correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't dispute anything that he said. The problem is that we don't have like I'll call it a mid-size motorcycle. We have mini bikes, then we have full-size bikes, and there's very few mid-size. But the X Trainer is an example of this. The KTM Freerider is an example of this. There are some kind of hybrid-ish sort of stuff, but exactly what he said. When you can't go to the soft enough, they don't make a soft enough spring rate, and if they do, it sacks the whole suspension out. So there is this kind of conundrum, but it does affect the handling of the bike. So that's the downfall. I haven't ridden a lowered bike that handled, we'll call it, properly or adequately, and so I feel for the smaller riders that don't get to ride a really good handling motorcycle. And if it was left to me, I would be the guy that would try to figure out how to, we'll call it, stiffen up a smaller motorcycle or adapt a smaller motorcycle as opposed to try to drag a bigger motorcycle to fit the person.
Soilsman ADV says Beta has engineered a 2-inch and a 1-inch lowering kit for their bikes. It has made a ton easier for me to learn riding techniques for single track. I don't jump a lot, so I don't mind only having 9.8 inches of travel instead of 11.8. It hasn't changed any of the handling characters of the bike. I started on a 1976 XL80, and I don't think it had 3 inches of suspension, and that didn't keep me off of the woods and riding. I think internally lowering a bike is the only way to do it.
Okay, so his XL80 had 5 inches of suspension. I know this because I've broken a couple of them in half and torn the foot pegs off the bottom of the cases. So I'm speaking of experience there. And the fact that he didn't feel the effect of the handling is because he doesn't know the difference. It's just like you don't have that experience, and so there's something we say: if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you just don't know, right? It's something you don't have experience with, so you just have to kind of. Well, you can either learn by trying these things, and once you've lowered your bike, go and ride a normal size bike and see if you notice a difference. And some people may appreciate the characteristics that lowering the bike presents. They make them more stable. They feel a little bit more heavy. Heavy and stable seem to have a thing together, but they don't turn on their wheels like they're supposed to, and they tend to handle slow. And that's good for a novice, but as you start progressing, and the other thing, and you'll agree with me on this, like, the reason people lower the bikes is why?
They want their feet on the ground.
How many feet?
Both.
Is there something wrong with this? Because we always say if your feet come out and you're trying to touch the ground, you're crashing. Both feet. Like if both feet come off the foot pegs, you're preparing to crash. People say, I want to put my feet on the ground. Well, put one foot down. Because if you're in balance, or you at least know which side you're leaning to, you can put a single foot down. And even if the bike is tall for you, you can move your butt off to the side of the seat and still get that foot down. On most of my bikes that I ride under we'll call it non-extreme enduro conditions, I cannot come close to touching the ground. I have a 30-inch inseam, maybe, on a good day. That's when my balls aren't super big and they're like raising me up off the seat, because evidently I have big huevos. So you're trying to, the thing is, when you put your feet out and you want to touch the ground, we don't ride our motorcycles like this. 99.9% of the times you're not riding with your feet on the ground. Of course, I know when you stop, you want to put, quote, your feet down, but you should just put a foot down. And so this whole lowering thing, And then I see where they chop the seats too. So there's all these different things. You're lowering the suspension by the suspension, which is probably the better way to do it because at least it leaves the integrity of the foot peg to the seat top together. But once you start cutting the seat and you start scrunching up the rider, your legs fold down closer, and then all of a sudden it's hard to go from a sitting to standing position. And when you're riding, you're constantly transitioning between those two things. So there's a lot more there to it. I wish they would design we need a bike for bigger dudes. We need a bigger chassis, like mountain bikes. Think about it. They come in small, medium, and large.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And it's just we don't have it's expensive to do. You think about it, it's not that easy just to stretch out a frame because in order to make that frame work, you think about it, the motor, let's just say we keep the motor in the same spot and we start stretching the frame out. It's like, well, then all of a sudden the plastic doesn't fit where the radiators need to be, and the seat isn't connected to the it's not sealing up the airbox or whatever. It doesn't just stretch so easily. There's so much more stuff than on a mountain bike where they only have to thinking about keeping the crank center where it's at, and there's not a lot of other integral parts to the motorcycle that are connected. So okay.
Husky Holler says, my suspension guy says the geometry is wrong on the 2018 Husqvarna FE compared to the FX/FC. It is too high in the rear and is suggesting a different link for the rear that will lower the bike. I looked it up, and the seat height on the FE is 10 millimeters taller than the FX. Also, the FE forks are shorter than the FX/FC. I dropped the forks and the triple clamps. It seems to help the bike from pushing in deep sand. Or is this because of the air forks on the FX/FC models? What do you think, TIA?
TIA. I know that means something. What does TIA mean?
Thanks in advance.
Thanks in advance.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Really, you're thanking me in advance for what I'm going to say. So, 2018 Husky. I'm sure I've ridden him. And the fact that he this is awesome. So he actually, instead of just buying in and saying, okay, great, mm-hmm. He actually went and lowered his fork. So he tried to raise the front end of the bike up. Yeah. And this is the proper technique. The things with the Huskies is they're all on the linkage. It's all linkage bikes. So it's not like KTM where you're going between XC and XCW or EXC, which is you're going from a linkage to a PDS. So I'm kind of thinking back to why they would, why there'd be 10 millimeters in seat height, and where they measure the seat height is kind of in the center of the bike. So that's I don't think that's indicative of the front end being lower or higher. Maybe that's just the characteristic they wanted to provide the bike with. But did he say how much he lowered he said it's 10 millimeters taller, but he doesn't talk about how much he lowered the forks and the clamp.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know that the balance of the bike would be that much
It is kind of
different.
Where they put the linkage rear, but they put the KTM front end.
They put the Explorer fork. Yeah. And
but it had the linkage rear, which does have more travel.
Yeah. So I don't.
So it's kind of
unless I was actually able to ride them back to back, and the fact that he wants to just straight away go to a different linkage was, maybe he's tested that and had some really good success with it. That might be an option, but it'd be interesting to find out what the main reasoning was to say that. It's kind of like if you're happy with the way your bike works, but then you read all of a sudden like this thing doesn't do this, and then all of a sudden it does it. Well, at least now you're aware of it, and then there's some changes that could be made. And so if you go and change the kind of like sliding the forks down and say, hey, maybe if my front end we're riding a little bit higher or my back end we're a little bit lower, that'd be a good thing to try. Sounds like at least there's some logic behind what he's talking about. So at least, and if it improved the mod that you made improved it, then you're going in the right direction. So yeah.
Sarah 24 UTI. What about for extreme enduro? Longtime trials riders starting to ride dirt bikes, and the seat height is ridiculous for things I usually do easy. Pivot turns, etc. I am 5'6".
Well, you're coming from a bike that does not have a seat and is shaped like a V. In other words, there's nothing that's stopping you from getting your foot on the ground as far as the chassis is designed, trials bike to enduro bike. So, and coming from trials, you understand the maneuverability of the bike and stuff like this. So you think about it, it's kind of a question of like what you're actually doing with the motorcycle, like how, for certain situations the trials bike is a better ride, and for certain things that the enduro bike is a better bike to ride, and how much you're kind of crossing between that, and you're just going to come to the point where like, I'm taking this motorcycle that does this and I want it to do more of this, then you're going to have to modify it or adjust it. So I think, when it goes to lowering, and especially coming from a trials background, you're coming with a bike that has a much shorter wheelbase, is a lot lighter, and that lowering your enduro bike is going to make it feel heavier and longer. And especially when you're talking about those pivot turns and what she's talking about, it's going to be harder to get the lowered bike to do that than a normal sized bike. So it's compromises. It all comes down to compromises, and I don't know that there's a simple solution to fixing it. So
SS, big exception with the extreme enduro. I used a trials bike most of these sections around here. Now I have a lowered full size. That's maybe the only big adventure. Just stopping and going is irrelevant on bike size. Do the smallest lowering possible to get comfortable and just get used to it.
So he's saying that he's happy with his lowering, but he only did the minimal. He didn't lower it a ton. He just lowered it the amount that made him comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do.
No, I think he's asking, do you
lower it, or
No, I think he's agreeing with you.
He's agreeing with me.
Yeah.
That's strange.
So big exception with extreme enduro. I use a trials bike. It's the only big advantage is stopping and going. Yeah, he's agreeing with you.
When you go and it depends on what your definition of extreme enduro is. So I was thinking about this when I was riding my new to me KTM 300 through the rocks the other day, and when I set George's bike up, which I raced at King of the Motos, I ran a lot less sag in the back so I could get the bike to squat down more. But I did not go to a lower seat or anything like that because it doesn't, for me, that wasn't the right thing. I wanted to make sure I was able to, because a lot of times you're kind of sitting down and dragging your feet, but then you want to be able to stand up very quickly. And having a seat where I was going to fall down more into it was an issue. But I did run quite a bit less sag. In other words, I sacrificed something on my ride height to get the seat lower, especially not so much when I was where I was supposed to be, but when I'm in the back of the seat, kind of dragging my feet like rudders, which is a whole crazy ass technique that isn't a proper riding technique. But if you're doing this and you're doing it properly, it doesn't make sense to normal riding, but you have to be at a pretty high level. Not to say that I just copy what I see the extreme riders doing in all those videos. You watch the videos. I watched all that, the super enduros. So I'm practicing all the stuff those guys are doing.
Yeah.
Those guys are freaking pivoting their bike on their rear wheel. It's ridiculous. But anyways, so I think it, like if you consider just riding on a single track trail out in the forest, extreme enduro, where you would riders of higher level just ride through and don't even think about it, then we kind of need to roll it back and don't change your bike setup to compensate for what your riding ability is not doing. Like if you're balanced and you're comfortable and you're controlled and you can ride right through this like the higher level rider does, don't blame it on bike setup. Don't think there's like it's just like there's no magic pill, even though I'm just about ready to buy a bunch of magic pills for my diet program that I'm going to go on because I don't want to work. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about it. It's a lot better just to like buy the pill as opposed to actually like start training, running, and doing my sit-ups and push-ups like I'm supposed to. So that's what happens when we start talking about like, certain bike modifications. And you can just work on yourself and then all the bikes work. So I should probably take my own advice. I
think that's the last question. Yeah,
it's the last question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did we put everybody sleep, Logan?
I checked, and there were 66 seers. Now there's 43 viewers.
So we killed everybody off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all your girlfriends left the chat because they're getting ready, they're waiting for you to come over afterwards. Like your 20 girlfriends that left the chat because they know that the show's over usually at 9, and they're expecting you to show up. I know how it works, Logan. I was like you one day. So,
Logan, where are you at? Are you coming by later?
Okay, everybody. Hey, with that, I want to thank all of our sponsors. I'd like to thank Yamaha, Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, and of course, start thinking about going out to the Adelanto Grand Prix. I may show up, or Logan's going to show up. You can visit Logan. Logan's going to have his own booth out there, where he's going to start signing. He's going to sign autographs at the Adelanto Grand Prix. So we know that's going to bring them hundreds of more entries, like they're expecting from this show. So thanks a lot. I don't think we had any questions that we missed on the chat, did we?
I think we're good.
It was just a bunch of people giving me crap. If you're wondering how to watch this show, live every Tuesday night on YouTube, on Facebook, a couple other places. You can especially share this. If we answered a question or we talked about something that you think other people should know, share this thing. This is how we're kind of growing a little bit, and I enjoy that we're talking about things like boobless and tequila and all the other stuff. Hey, Victor, thank you, amigo. Victor's our Mexican representative, even though he's living here in the States, evidently illegally, but it's all good. Anything else we need to wrap up?
We'll have some exciting stuff to share next week.
Exciting stuff like next week. We have a big school this weekend, got rally training coming on. We have a tour with Johnny Campbell going this next on Valentine's Day. There's nothing better to do on Valentine's Day than go ride your dirt bikes with Johnny Campbell, and because if you had a really good Valentine, she would want you to be doing that, but sold out. Guess what? So you can't go. Okay, I think that's it. Logan, what do you say?
See you out on the trail.
Cheers.